For a brief violent period in the 16th century, the ancient Christian kingdom of Ethiopia nearly vanished from the map. High in the mountains of East Africa, this thousand-year-old kingdom faced a brutal conquest that's often forgotten today. The Ethiopian Highlands, once a fortress of faith and culture, became a battleground where two worlds collided. This was not just a war of armies, but a test of resilience and survival. The scars of this conflict still shape Ethiopia's identity and politics. Even the highest mountains could not shield the kingdom from the tides of change. Understanding this war is key to understanding modern Ethiopia. The conquest that swept through these highlands is a stark reminder: no place is immune to the forces of history. Let's uncover the story of Ethiopia's near extinction and its survival. The Ethiopian Highlands, often called the roof of Africa, are a breathtaking expanse of rugged mountains and deep valleys, soaring thousands of meters above sea level. This unique landscape is shrouded in mist and mystery, with clouds often drifting below the jagged peaks, creating an otherworldly atmosphere that has inspired awe for centuries. These highlands rise dramatically above the surrounding lowlands, forming a natural fortress that has shaped the destiny of those who call it home. This rugged plateau, crowned by peaks like Ras Dashen, the highest in Ethiopia, offered a temperate climate and fertile volcanic soil. The land was ideal for agriculture, supporting terraced farms and vibrant communities that thrived in relative isolation from the outside world. Here, the legendary Solomonic dynasty ruled for centuries, claiming a royal lineage that traced back to King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. Their castles and palaces still stand as silent witnesses to a powerful and enduring civilization. Isolated from the rest of the Christian world by mountains and deserts, Ethiopian Orthodox Christianity developed its own rich traditions. The faithful carved magnificent rock-hewn churches at Lalibela, places of worship and pilgrimage that remain marvels of devotion and engineering. The highlands' wealth, fueled by fertile lands and control of vital trade routes, brought prosperity to its people. Caravans wound their way through mountain passes, connecting distant markets and cultures. But this prosperity also attracted the attention of ambitious outsiders. The mountains served as both shield and challenge, protecting the kingdom from invaders, yet also drawing the envy and ambition of rival powers who longed to control this land above the clouds. The people of the highlands, mainly Amhara and Tigrayan, developed a fierce sense of independence and identity. Their culture, language, and faith became deeply intertwined with the mountains themselves, and they saw their homeland as a bastion of Christianity in a changing world. Their emperors were not just rulers, but also spiritual leaders, guardians of both the land and the faith, guiding their people through times of peace and conflict. Yet, as the highlands flourished, a powerful force from the lowlands began to rise, threatening to challenge everything the highland kingdoms had built and forever alter the course of their history. From the arid east, the Adal Sultanate emerged as Ethiopia's greatest rival, rising from the harsh landscapes of the Horn of Africa. This was a region shaped by centuries of migration, trade, and conflict, where powerful kingdoms vied for dominance and survival. For centuries, Adal and Ethiopia clashed over land, trade, and faith, each side seeking to expand its influence and protect its people. The highlands and lowlands became a patchwork of shifting alliances, with merchants, warriors, and religious leaders all playing their part in the struggle. But in the 1500s, the conflict escalated to a new and deadly level, as both sides prepared for a confrontation that would shape the destiny of the region. The catalyst was Imam Ahmad ibn Ibrahim al-Ghazi, known as Ahmad Grain, a brilliant leader and religious reformer whose ambition and charisma would change history. He united the often fractured Adal clans, forging a powerful coalition from diverse peoples who had long competed for resources and influence. Ahmad inspired them with a vision of holy war against the Christian empire, calling for a jihad that would bring glory to their faith and transform the political landscape of the Horn. Crucially, Ahmad forged ties with the powerful Ottoman Empire, acquiring firearms and cannons that changed the face of war in East Africa. These new weapons gave his forces a decisive technological edge. The Ethiopian army, still armed mostly with swords, shields, and spears, was unprepared for the devastating impact of gunpowder weapons on the battlefield. In 1529, Imam Ahmad launched a full-scale invasion, leading his united army across the plains, with the aim of conquering and converting the entire kingdom of Ethiopia. This was no mere border skirmish. It was an existential threat to Ethiopia's sovereignty, culture, and religion. The shadow of the Imam fell across the highlands, and Ethiopia faced its greatest crisis in 1,000 years, as fear and uncertainty spread among its people. The fate of a 1,000-year-old civilization now hung in the balance, as ancient churches and settlements stood silent witness to the coming storm. The war for the soul of the highlands had begun, setting the stage for one of the most dramatic chapters in African history. Imam Ahmad's invasion of Ethiopia erupted with a devastating victory at the Battle of Shimbrakure, a clash that would echo through the ages and set the stage for a brutal war of faith and empire. The Ethiopian army, led by Emperor Dawit II, was shattered by Adal's musketeers and artillery, new weapons that changed the face of warfare in the highlands and left the defenders reeling. Province after province fell as the Adal army advanced relentlessly, their cannons thundering across the mountains and reducing once mighty fortresses to rubble, leaving only smoke and ruin in their wake. Monasteries and churches, centuries-old sanctuaries of faith, were destroyed, their treasures lost to flames. The emperor, forced from his throne, became a fugitive, leading a desperate guerrilla war from the shadows. Dawit II sent urgent pleas for help to Christian Europe, hoping distant allies would answer and turn the tide before it was too late. By the mid-1530s, the once unconquered Ethiopian highlands were almost entirely under Adal control, their borders redrawn and their people living in fear. Many locals, desperate to survive, converted to Islam, while others clung to their ancient Christian faith in secret. The ancient kingdom teetered on the edge of collapse, its future uncertain. It seemed Imam Ahmad's vision of an Islamic Horn of Africa was within reach, as his armies swept across the land and his influence grew with every victory. The empire's 1,000-year legacy, its churches, its culture, its very identity, was nearly extinguished, threatened by the relentless tide of conquest and change. Yet even as defeat loomed and hope seemed lost, the spirit of resistance endured in the hearts of the people. In hidden valleys and mountain strongholds, a fierce determination to survive and reclaim their homeland began to grow. The story was not yet over. In the darkness, a spark of hope remained, waiting to ignite a new struggle for freedom. A new chapter of defiance was about to begin, as the people of Ethiopia prepared to rise once more against overwhelming odds. Despite defeat, the highland people refused to surrender. Local uprisings erupted, with farmers and herders waging guerrilla war from the hills and forests. The Yambas, flat-topped mountains, became strongholds for resistance fighters. Empress Sebel-Wangel, widow of Dawit II, emerged as a symbol of defiance, protecting her son and rallying the loyalists. She kept hope alive, maintaining contact with the Portuguese and uniting scattered resistance. The Adal army controlled towns, but the countryside remained hostile and dangerous. Every victory for the invaders sparked new rebellions. The cost of occupation was enormous, and Imam Ahmad struggled to consolidate his rule. The people's stubborn resistance bought precious time for the kingdom. The idea of a free Ethiopia survived in the mountains. The stage was set for a dramatic reversal. Emperor Dawit's pleas reached Portugal, a rising maritime power eager to counter Muslim rivals. In 1541, a small Portuguese force led by Cristóvão da Gama landed on the Red Sea coast. Armed with muskets and cannons, they joined Empress Sebel-Wangel and the Ethiopian loyalists. The Portuguese brought hope and firepower, turning the tide against the Adal army. Fierce battles followed, and the invaders' aura of invincibility began to crack. The turning point came at the Battle of Huayna Daga in 1543. Though Cristóvão da Gama was killed, his men fought on with the new emperor, Galaudeos. Imam Ahmad was killed in battle by a Portuguese musketeer, shattering Adal's morale. The invading army collapsed and the conquest ended almost overnight. Ethiopia had survived, but at a terrible cost. Victory brought no quick peace to the Ethiopian highlands. 15 years of war left the land devastated, farms ruined, towns emptied, and famine rampant. The population was decimated, and the nobility nearly wiped out. Forced conversions and destruction of churches left deep religious scars and mistrust. The monarchy was weakened, with local lords gaining power and the capital relocated for security. The trauma of near annihilation fostered a more militarized, inward-looking society. Amid the chaos, the Oromo people migrated into the highlands, reshaping Ethiopia's ethnic landscape. The war's aftermath set the stage for new conflicts and alliances. The scars of conquest would shape Ethiopia for centuries. The kingdom endured, but it was forever changed. The legacy of survival and loss became part of Ethiopia's identity. The 16th century conquest left a permanent mark on Ethiopia's soul. Ancient churches and manuscripts were lost, creating a gap in the nation's memory. The trauma reinforced a fortress mentality, Ethiopia as a besieged Christian bastion. The story of Ahmad Gran's invasion became a rallying cry for unity and survival. Portuguese intervention saved the kingdom but brought new challenges, including religious conflict with Jesuit missionaries. Ethiopia turned inward, wary of foreign entanglements. Today, the story lives on in chronicles, songs, and national memory. Heroes and villains from this era remain part of Ethiopia's identity. Understanding this chapter is essential to grasping Ethiopia's past and present. It's a testament to a civilization's ability to endure, rebuild, and remember. The conquest of the Ethiopian Highlands is a dramatic, world-shaping story. It reveals how faith, ambition, and new technology can upend centuries of history. The Ethiopian Idle War was as significant for Africa as Europe's great religious wars. It's a story of resilience, of a people who refused to lose their identity. Remembering this history challenges stereotypes and deepens our understanding of Africa's past. The echoes of these events still shape the region today. Exploring forgotten histories connects us to the shared human experience of struggle and survival. There is always more to discover in the tapestry of our world. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of Ethiopia's hidden past. Until next time, keep exploring the stories that shape our world.